The convent bells tolled for the last time. High in the olive-shrouded hills of Thessaly, where autumn winds whispered through ancient leaves, a small band of nuns gathered in their crumbling chapel. They knelt beneath cracked frescoes, saints' faces worn away by centuries of grief and neglect. On the horizon, fire danced like a predator's eyes. Ottoman banners, crimson flags fluttering like embers, crested the mountains. The sisters knew what it heralded: conquest without mercy. No riders galloped from nearby towns. No soldiers lingered to shield them. Only the heavy hush before the storm. Their abbess, Sister Eleni of Lissa, stood resolute before the altar, clutching a silver crucifix weathered by 100 tempests. "If they breach our walls," she murmured, "keep your vows locked in your hearts. They cannot steal what burns within." But she was mistaken. When the Empire's legions stormed the gates, vows and sanctity crumbled like dry earth. History would try to bury it all. If tales of forgotten frontiers draw you, from Ottoman-Byzantine clashes to hidden Vatican dispatches, subscribe. It fuels our hunt through dusty archives for stories the victors tried to silence. Now to the heart of it. Sundown brought the first collapse. Stones tumbled like weary prayers, hymns drowned by cannon's roar and human cries. The Ottomans spared no arrows for holy sites. They blasted the gates as both omen and oath. To them, this convent was no sanctuary. It was rebellion incarnate, a cross defying the crescent on soil already claimed. Inside, the sisters buried their treasures: silver chalices, embroidered icons, shards of saints' bones beneath the chapel floor. They hoped faith might outlive flesh, but the invaders sought no gold. They craved erasure, proof they'd not only felled armies, but felled gods. By nightfall, survivors huddled in the torch-lit courtyard, white habits flickering gold and shadow. "You'll face the Pasha," the soldiers sneered, a vow as empty as the wind. What ensued etched into legend, too raw for church scribes to fully inscribe. Dawn broke over ash. Smoke curled from the refectory where bread and quiet once reigned. Ottoman flags snapped from the bell tower, a beacon to kin. Resistance quelled. Yet in that yard, amid expected wails, came song. Bound in ropes, the sisters lifted voices in the Agnus Dei. "Lamb of God, who takes away the sins of the world." Trembling, but unbroken, a chorus of steel. The Ottoman captain, torn between scorn and unease, hauled forth Eleni, her crucifix still gripped like a blade. "Renounce your Christ," he offered. "Embrace our light and your flock lives." Her gaze met his, unyielding. "I surrendered my life long ago. What more can you claim?" He paused, perhaps stirred, then turned, consigning her to his men. The rest was unspoken in chronicles. Ottoman annals called it discipline for the unreasonable. European whispers revived her, Eleni of Lissa, the unbowed nun. By noon, bells melted into coin, the rooftop cross carted east as spoil. But rumors bloomed in villages below. At night, winds through ruins carried not sobs, but prayers, women's voices, eternal. The march south began as smoke thinned. 22 in tattered veils, ankles chained, prodded by horsemen toward the coast. Not mere prisoners, but emblems of triumph. Sacred walls felled, spirits next. The road was a crucible, sun-seared like judgment. These cloistered souls, unaccustomed to the world, staggered from thirst and fatigue. One fell, another veiled her face against the dust of hooves, a last grace in desolation. Eleni's echo guided, "If the cross slips, hold each other. 7 days to Volos's port." There, galleys awaited, not for solace but subjugation. Herded aboard, wrists lashed to benches scarred by prior slaves, they sailed as sails swelled. Greece's shores blurred to memory. All they'd known adrift. The overseer, Yusuf Aga, logged it coldly. Cargo of spices, silks, coins, and religious infidels. His ledger, unearthed in Istanbul's vaults centuries on, lent legend flesh. 12 days to Constantinople. Storms flayed the deck. Salt gnawed wounds, hunger carved hollows. Silence wounded deepest. No words save barked orders. They drifted as specters twixt sea and stars. At night, young Sister Magdalena murmured psalms, faint as mist. Even chained Greeks, Serbs, Italians leaned in. Waves hushed. For a breath, the abyss held peace. The Bosphorus welcomed them to the city's spires, domes and minarets agleam like daggers in dawn. Once the city's world's desire, now their prison. Paraded through bazaars thronged with traders, troops, thralls, the nuns drew stares. Christian sisters amid the enslaved, a novelty in conquest's grind. Past Blakernye's ancient walls to the imperial core. Beneath Hagia Sophia, Christendom's fallen heart, they knelt as muezzins wailed from minarets. One sister breathed, home, yet no longer ours. Pre-dawn hauled them to a marble expanse ringed by columns, the Divana Humayun, where sultanic decree was divine. No kings or clerics judged here, only empire's ledger. For Thessaly's nuns, faith weighed against conquest's code. At Hall's heart, the Grand Vizier sat, face a mask. Scribes poised with quills, tallying names, years, fates, through tongues bridged by interpreters. The Sultan offers grace. Convert, gain names anew, sustenance, palace life. Refuse? Faith's correction awaits. Imprisonment? Oblivion? The air thickened, silence reigned. Magdalena quivered, visions of devoured kin, Greeks, Armenians, Slavs, flashing. Then elder sister Dorothea advanced, not as thrall, but sage who'd seen thrones topple. "My lord," she declared, "rename us if you will, but prayers etched in soul defy your ink." The translator faltered. When rendered, the vizier's gaze iced. Prayers perish when tongues forget. A gesture. Dismissed. Not to death, but Topkapa's underbelly, where unassigned captives languished. Mercy? Or prelude to perdition? Some found veiled chains, service cloaked as reprieve. Beneath gardens sprawled a stone maze, slits for scant light blurring day from dusk. Stripped of habits for coarse shifts, they scrubbed floors, stitched robes, stoked fires for betters, holiness humbled to toil. Yet the Ottomans misjudged. Vows had long schooled them in want. Silence, denial, ache. Suffering? Not scourge, but sacrament. In depths, discipline forged shields. Nightly covert prayers. One etched a cross with nail on clay. Another scripted verses in dust. Muezzin calls tallied not submission, but rebellion's rhythm. A clock for unslayable creed. Whispers wormed through staff. Silent sisters. Foreign shades below who neither pled nor broke. Cursed saints? Their quiet boomed louder than bells. Months blurred. Blisters from labor, linens laundered, brass burnished, hearths fed sans warmth for self. Names banned, numbers branded. Empire wagered time would warp even iron faith. Then feigned benevolence, victuals, oils, finery dispatched. Savants arrived velvet-voiced. Rest, our God and yours. Kin, learn our speech, earn liberty. But liberty, amnesia in robes, forgetting. Their soul unpardonable. Magdalena, once wilting, bloomed as beacon. She wove half-recalled scriptures into lifelines, mangled yet mighty, words as bread, coaxing crumbled. Masks shed, torches snuffed, rations halved, no suasion, only void. One by one to a scribe's nook, recite fealty's oath. Yielders, silks and vanishing, defiers, gone. No spectacle of savagery, a gradual soul grind. Faith not rent, but eroded, famine, limbo, that murmur. Why bleed for a voiceless divine? Two Corfio twins cracked, murmuring submission. Garbed in gloss, spirited away, erased, survivors steeled. Dorothea, vizier defier, thinned to wraith. Queried for name? A spectral smile. Call me silence? Contagion spread. To captors, only void. In muteness, they seized reins the empire deemed confiscated. Annals skimmed. Infidel holdouts, inert, inutile. Failed proselytes to foes, to annals anomalies. Proof. Spirit outlasts stone and shackle. Spring greened upper bowers. 11 of 22 breathed still. Ragged phantoms, guards growled. Servants? Stranger lore, nocturnal chants in alien tongue, dreaded yet drawing ears. In lightless veins they unearthed fortune. a dust-choked arch, sealed eons past. Sanctuary first, then sanctum. Pottery shards for tapers, linen scrap for cloth, mirror splinter for crucifix. Nightly post-slumber they convened, no anthems but murmurs. Kneeling, each proffered a relic. Hearths glow, bells peal, dawn's loaf. Memories minted psalms for a listening God. A Venetian thrall scrawled of Latin lullabies 'neath the harem to a foreign deity. Dismissed as fancy, till digs beneath Topkapi birthed a nook, Christian glyphs, defiant. Crosses clawed in rock. Latin ghost, lux in tenebris lucette, light shines in darkness, vindication they'd not evaporated. They'd incised revolt, Magdalena, faith's forge, charcoaled tallies, avian sigils for the breathing, flames for the fallen. Absent bird, another voided. Guards spied poise amid privation, serene, unearthly. Lunacy, overseers spat, scribes, otherworldly fortitude. Worship wove on, seasons, perchance years. Empire's scrub failed. The crypt their coda, no arms, no uproar, just creeds quiet conquer. A fresh sultan ascended round 1482, purging sire's frailties. Rosters brimmed, save one void. Topkapi's tomes, blank for 21, glossed, unfit, discarded. No obits, no plots. Erasure's elegance, omission over blaze, yet hush indicts. A Bursa diary, 15th century hinted. Stubborn foreign wives, sunk neath footings. Venetian intercept 84. Nuns scorning sultanic sway. Mosaic mended, empire's shame shroud over resistive icons. Magdalena's coda? An Italian wayfarer's quill. Decades hence. A lackey's yarn of a songbird sealed mid-hymn. Nameless but melody-pierced stone. Legends lingered 'mongst underlings. Full moons chilled lower halls, wafting phantom incense sans flame. Recall? Fancy? Or fusion? Unkillable. Europe's envoys, lured by Levantine enigmas, caught echoes. French envoy, 1712. Old. Retainers hoard taboo of Christ women hymning to paradise, scoffed. As fable. Walls had testified. The crypt crumbles, but incisions abide. Faint pleas in stone, murmurs of the unvanquished. In quiet they proclaim, if this tale lingers, endurance amid erasure, share below what stirred in you. Crave more shadows unearthed? Subscribe. Delve with us. Some verities demand resurrection, horrors be damned.